Hi, folks. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Another episode of Finding Data Friends. And we found a new friend to join us today. Enrico, thanks for joining us. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me, and good year for everyone that's watching right now as well. My name is Enrico van der Laar. I'm 43 years old. I've been basically working with data in all kinds of roles since I think I was 16. So that's been more than 20 years now, and I've done about everything. If you have a job description that has data in it, I've probably done it. I'm currently working as a data privacy engineer at a company called Previnity, which is aimed at helping companies work safely with sensitive data. And we recently also started a new startup called Put Simply, together with, I don't know if he's a data friend already, but Tomasz Kastrun. He is one of the founders. Um,
I'm 99% sure he's on the list, but we haven't had him on here yet.
all right. So, but Tomasz is also one of the founders, and that solution is more, of course, AI based because you got to have AI right now, right? And we're actually simplifying difficult texts for people automatically or automagically, I should say. So that's kind of who I am and what I'm doing. Got 3 kids, live in the Netherlands. That's about it.
Awesome.
I'm not quite sure if Enrico was humble by saying that's over 20 years now, or if he's just really bad at math, or if he's trying to hide the fact that it's almost 30 years.
Yeah, I'm still in the phase where I'm trying to ignore my age, basically. Yeah.
I see.
I'm in
Nice.
denial.
I feel that.
See, I
It's
used
all
the
good.
time in between to double check, and Tomasz is on the list, but he has not been on the show yet.
Okay.
Perfect. Coming soon then.
There's that. Heard it here
Awesome.
first.
Yeah. Well, Enrico, if you've been in data for 20 plus years, we'll say still, you must have a lot of things you can choose between for the next question. So it might be difficult, but what's your favorite data thing?
Yeah,
And you can totally say big data clusters.
So initially I was going to say big data clusters, but now that Ben has kind of ruined the. Now, well, okay, we wrote a book and now data clusters is no more. There's still not sure if there's a relationship with the book or big data clusters, but yeah.
I've tried because I wrote a book on Fabric and it's still around. So apparently it was not us.
Yeah, and
At
that's
least not me. Maybe
that's
it was
kind
you.
of strange. So maybe it was me that was, So it is very difficult because I've done so many technologies and stuff. But if I really look in the data world, what I like, I'm still a big SQL Server fan. So even though I'm not allowed to touch it a lot anymore, I still find a lot of features in that product really awesome. Things like the query store, the weight statistics, the little things you can do to make your queries go faster. I'm still, every time I get to do something with SQL, I'm happy to do that basically. I'm a little bit of a less of a fan of the product that Ben just mentioned, like Fabric. So I'm more like, I like to have the little knobs everywhere that I can tune and can change and optimize. And I would rather work with Data Factory and then Azure SQL DB than do something with Fabric. But I might be the only one seeing that Fabric is everywhere. But yeah, that's about it. So definitely SQL Server, I think, is a favorite data product.
Nice. I feel like a lot of us started on SQL Server and now have evolved into other things, but still have a pretty soft spot for it. It's the base of many things in what we do, right?
Definitely. And it was the same for me. So I basically started with databases as well, and then went to SQL Server. And I still think it's the best database platform. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Every time I have to work with something else like Postgres or Oracle or MySQL, I'm like, why doesn't this work like this and stuff like that? So yeah.
So, well, first of all, as you both know, I'm in the same boat. So SQL Server is my go-to choice when it comes to it. What I'm going to say is it's probably similar for the people coming from the other end, because we're kind of in that bias bubble / Stockholm syndrome, where you're just used to do things in a certain way, and then you're like, why doesn't it work the exact same way in an entirely different product?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And to be fair, there are some other features other database platforms have that are really neat that you're like, why doesn't SQL Server have this? But yeah, I still think it's a very stable and great product to work with, and all the little things behind the engine, like the weight statistics, and that really, I think that's really the fun part of the product, to tune those a little bit and play around with that.
If you could pick one thing that you think is missing from SQL Server, what would it be?
Ooh.
I think
Anything.
yeah, I wasn't prepared for this question, but I know that Oracle has a certain feature where you can do basically rollbacks on a transaction level, like it's transaction log backups, but you can just restore rows in a table and those kind of things, if I remember correctly. Which would be something that would be great, because you can now do that through some third-party backup solutions and that kind of difficult stuff. But I think that's a native feature from Oracle, if I remember correctly. Yeah, something like that would be nice, because everyone had that moment where someone said, "Yeah, I did that delete and I forgot something, or I
Whoopsie.
added something wrong in the where clause, and I have a little problem now." So, yeah, something like that would be great, I guess.
So kind of
Yeah,
like
or
a time machine.
yeah, like a time machine thing, and one other great option, I think, if they would be able to make that, if like it would be great if SQL Server could integrate with like a data lake environment, something with Spark and Kubernetes. That would be awesome if they were able to.
I see what you did there, which
Hold
makes
on a
my
minute.
which makes my response even harder, because that time machine thingy plus also the Spark integration fabric has both of these things.
I was aiming for big data clusters, but
I
if
know,
Fabric
I
has
know.
an instance, can you run it locally though?
No, you can't. Well, you can. Then it's not called Microsoft Fabric. It's called Microsoft Denim. Heard it here first.
Yes, again.
Oh,
That's a good way to start the year, right? With all those new announcements.
Exactly.
this is usually the show that Microsoft chooses to announce big products. So
Correct. We're,
this
we're,
makes
we're
sense.
kind of the build of podcasts, I think
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Totally.
well deserved. Well deserved.
I think this is how Satya refers to us whenever he talks about this show. Anyways, before I dig my hole any deeper and I have Microsoft Legal on the phone, folks, I was kidding. Satya calls our show something different, but I'm not allowed to say what it is. Anyways, Enrico, before I'm about to go to jail, which kind of brings us back to the preparation list, what's your favorite non-data thing?
Yeah, that was also a difficult one to answer, because there's a lot of things I like outside of the data world. So I like to do a lot of cycling and running and just a bit of physical exercise, enjoying hurting myself, I guess. But also I'm a big music fan. So I love to go to concerts, festivals, yeah, all those kinds of things.
I was hoping for cycling, since you're from the Netherlands. I feel like that's got to happen, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've
What kind of
Yeah, I've been road cycling my entire life, basically, since I was a little kid. Did a lot of track cycling as well. Then, so my semi-pro career was also 30 years and 30 kilograms ago, basically. But I still like to climb on my bike every now and then, and just cycle around a little
So
bit.
now you get a 30-kilogram heavier bike? That's
Yes,
great.
yes, it was all the bike weight. It has nothing to do with me, but
I would like to take one quick step back, because we asked, what's your one favorite non-data thing? And your answer ended with all of these things. Well, I'm not going to...
it's only 3. Okay, so let's say then the one thing would probably be like exercise, cycling, running, that kind of stuff. So is that? Yeah, it's still. I know it's too. I can't choose, man. It's so
My
difficult.
one favorite thing is like the umbrella of all of the other
Yes,
things.
yes.
I also like to listen to music while I cycle.
See the thing, and you dug that hole kind of yourself, because you could have just say exercise and be done, but then you came again with those sub bullets.
Yeah, but
we just pretend you only said we're exercising interesting. And we could now be really mean and be like, oh, interesting, exercising, what kind of things? And you would be like running and cycling, that's 2 things, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
Out of the pool.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay,
why would we do that? That would just be...
it's
Not
an
for our first
impossible.
episode of the year.
It's an impossible question, right? If you're asking someone what's your favorite song of all time, it's always going to be a different answer for most people. I don't know about Ben, but for most people it changes every now and then. But
No, I do not have a one favorite song of all time.
see, there you go.
Yeah, I would agree. It probably changes every day depending on what pops onto the radio, and I'm like, I love this song.
Exactly.
Also, whenever I feel like, oh, I think like I'm an electronic music kind of guy, or whatever, remembering the credits that we gave in our second edition of the book, the dedication, if you remember.
Yes, I remember the dedication to all the ravers in the world, right?
In the nation.
In the nation, there you go.
Don't misquote it.
Oh yeah, sorry. It was a while since I read that book.
And well, the sad part is nobody ever really picked up on that. None of the two readers of the book noticed.
Yeah, which were the technical editors, right?
No, but so whenever I feel like, oh, I think this is my kind of music, and then I hear something like, oh no, this is pretty cool too, but that's an entirely different genre. So yeah, no, I could not pick a favorite ever song.
Yeah, good point.
That's a hard question, but what's a harder question than that?
I can't think well on an empty stomach, Jess. What is it?
Exactly. What is your favorite food ever?
So I'm not gonna call a category this time, but I'll just
Okay.
say I'll just say spare ribs. I'm in love with
Okay.
with spare ribs. So yeah, so that's it. I'll keep it short and simple.
Perfect. Are you making these spare ribs yourself, or are you going somewhere particular?
I'm making them myself every now and then, but I also like, when I'm at a restaurant and they have spare ribs, I have to order it. It's like, if I open the menu and it's there, it's an easy
It's
pick.
happening.
Yeah, it's happening. There's no other
Nice.
option.
I was in Utrecht for Data Saturday Holland and Pass on Tour last year, and we went to a really great restaurant. I think it's a steakhouse, but the ribs there were amazing. Was highly recommended.
Nice. Yeah, we have some decent
Remember
places.
the name of the place, Jess?
Yeah, it's the rib place. I actually don't remember the name, but I can find it. It's in the wall somewhere. You like go down by the canal, and it's just like tucked in
Right.
there. It's really nice.
Yeah, we have some decent places, but I still have this one thing on my bucket list. So I've never been to like a proper Texas barbecue place, like in America. So that's still one of the things, to go to one of those big barbecue restaurants you see all over the social media and have those massive dino ribs. That is still on the bucket list.
That's cool.
So yeah.
When I lived in America, in the town I lived in, they had like a July 4th rib festival. And there was just like all these basically food trucks that lined the high street for the weekend. And they had like competitions and stuff. But you could just go and like get samples, like obviously paid, from all these different places from all over the country. It was, one of my favorite weekends.
It sounds like a dream come true. Yeah.
I have been to a couple of southern barbecue joints. Too bad I don't eat meat, so...
Yeah, ribs aren't high on your list there.
No, probably not.
And also...
But you know what comes with ribs? Mac and
Fries.
cheese.
Or mac and
fries.
mac and cheese. Oh, mac and cheese. No, mac and cheese, damn.
Two perfect vegetarian options.
There is that.
Yeah. I'm already getting
Well, for the
hungry
most part,
talking
actually,
about this.
in Texas, very often they don't have proper sides because they're so heavy on the meat part
Yeah.
that basically the
There's no
side
room.
is more meat.
Yeah.
Would you like to have some bacon with your barbecue?
Yeah,
Yes.
again, yeah. That doesn't sound wrong to me, honestly, but
However, so the thing with ribs is also that I couldn't even come up with any idea on how you would make a non-meat heavy equivalent to that, because
Yeah.
you can make a vegetarian burger with all kinds of vegetables or with impossible meat or with fish or all kinds of seafood or whatever. For ribs,
yeah, that's gonna be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just marinate some tofu in teriyaki sauce or whatever, but I'm still not sure that's going
Stick it on a
Yeah.
stick. Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No idea.
What, so you have to nibble it off?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's part of the ribs
It is.
experience, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm not needing a shower afterwards, we didn't do it right.
Yeah, exactly. Then it wasn't good enough. No, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, what is
On
happening?
that note, time for a shower.
Then- Did you have ribs again, Jazz?
Maybe.
I see. Anyways, just like that, 15 minutes. Boom. However, before
We still got it.
We do. However, before we wave and say goodbye, we have a little change for this year.
Dum dum dum. Oh, play the sound.
Dum. No, we're not. Because we're gonna run into YouTube flagging that thing for copyright issues again. Then I have to explain myself, and I really don't have time for this. Which gets me to the point that I was actually going to make. We will not see you next week. We will see you in 2 weeks, because for the time being, we will go to a bi-weekly cadence for reasons. Which means
Because we
thank you,
want to.
Enrico, because we want to. Thank you, Enrico. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We do not see you next week, but we see you in 2 weeks with yet another friend. Bye.
Bye, folks.